get into the politics of the subject, but I did want to say that I think I owe Bigger Pockets a debt of gratitude because it was an interview on Bigger Pockets about 4 years ago now that rekindled my interest in real estate investing and put me on the path to learning the right way to do it. Some of you know that our journey's been kind of tough, or it was in the beginning. I tried getting started back in 2007, just before everything fell apart. We had a couple rentals here in California that we lost. We had pulled a bunch of equity out of our primary to buy those. So we ended up with a higher balance on our mortgage for our primary. Um, Went through bankruptcy in 2010. And then um, the thing that I mentioned earlier about being grateful to Bigger Pockets is the fact that they were doing an interview. Brandon Turner was interviewing David Green. At the time, he was a police officer picking up some rentals to, I guess, try to get out of that job eventually. Like a lot of us are picking up rentals to try to help us make work optional. And so that interview specifically started a lot of things for us. And I'm thankful for it because it led us to Michael Zuber and One Rental at a Time. It introduced us to a turnkey promoter that we started working with in the beginning of 2019, uh, Allie Boone. And we started working with her fairly quickly. She was in a few different markets. She knew turnkey providers in Missouri and Cleveland and Alabama. I believe she was in Iowa too. But she goes out, meets the turnkey providers, and then reports back to investors that are affiliated with her, and they present deals to the investor group. So we started with turnkeys, and it kind of got us spread out in a few different markets. And sometimes I get teased about that because we're in 5 different markets, but we were following turnkey deals. And so I don't really consider that jumping around aimlessly because I think we've picked up some nice properties. And since then, we've landed in the St. Louis market, and we're liking that. We found a great agent, great property manager, and a great lender, and insurance agent in the local market that has that we've been working with. So we're set to close on, I guess it will be our 10th door on the 5th of September. And not that that's a super important number, but that's just where we are at today. But the thing that I was thinking about it was how easy it was to do all of this from a distance. That was originally what got us interested in the turnkey model, and that's why we started with it, because we're in California, we're investing in the Midwest. So we just signed disclosures, online for this property that we're under contract for. So everything these days is so easy. I can remember back when we tried it the first time, and we were having to run back and forth to Staples to send faxes and all that stuff. It was such a headache. There are still a lot of forms to sign, but it took me and Cynthia about 10 minutes to sign everything and get it back to our lender. Um, and then also through what I was talking about with Bigger Pockets and being thankful to them because they got us started again. And the yeah, Mark, I I'm not sure if you heard, but I do have a new email address. It's oldguyrei@gmail, and that was created just for you. The The journey's been really awesome. Last night we had our Wednesday accountability Zoom call, and I joke about that too. It's labeled accountability, but I would call it gentle accountability. I think there's enough pressure on people when they come to a group and they set a goal for themselves for the next week. There's enough pressure on them to help them get that goal accomplished. So you don't need somebody cracking a whip behind you to keep you motivated. The other thing is all of the other great people that we met that stemmed from the Bigger Pockets thing. Um, we met Dion and Matt and Millennial Mike and a lot of you great people that are coming on with us this morning. But we've learned so much from the group, from the REI Avengers, and taken their courses. And I think it's been money well spent. We talk about that sometimes too, if mentorships are worth the money. And so far for us, they have been. We've probably spent about $8,000 total on mentorships. And I think they've really helped us get further in our journey than we would have if we tried to learn everything, say, from YouTube University. But the other thing that's been great about this journey is besides the education and besides meeting all the great people in the community, because everybody's so giving, everybody just wants to see you succeed, and that's not the norm today out in the world. So being in the group has been really encouraging and helpful, getting this channel off the ground, things like that. I was we were talking last night. We talked about a lot of different things. There was people in the group going through rehab issues. We got kind of sidetracked last night. As I've said before, sometimes we just sit around and talk about crazy stuff, especially when Mark joins the group. And that's a lot of fun. I think sometimes people just need a place to go where everybody's heading in the same direction. And even though we got off the topic of real estate, it was still a lot of fun. We were on there for 3 hours, and now the East Coast Accountability Group is started on Sundays at 3:30 Eastern, so it's 12:30 Pacific. But it's fun to jump in there too and support that group, and Jared's doing a great job with that. And a few of the other things that I've been considering, and I asked for help last night just to get some thoughts as to our portfolio. And I think Zuber and the guys did a portfolio review for someone a few weeks ago. So I'm probably going to bug them. I want Matt will give us the honest truth about things we're doing right and things we're doing wrong. Probably more wrong these days, but I'm hoping with that information we can get things moving in a more positive direction. So one thing I was asking about was whether, because we have a couple of properties that are paid off, whether we should put loans on those and purchase a couple more properties. I think when you analyze something like that, you need to consider the cash flow you're getting now is pretty good because the property is paid off. If you put a loan on it, then your cash flow would decrease, and the hope would be that the money you pull out of that property and purchase another one or two would create cash flow. And I think the goal is to make it equal to what you were getting before. In the market that we're buying in, properties are fairly inexpensive. We've been purchasing between 70,000, and this latest one is 106,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. We have a couple of 2-bedroom, 1-baths in the same area. So I'll be out there trying to get information on what would be the best move for us. I talk about being close to retirement. Cynthia's going to teach for this year, and then she'll be retiring after that. And I imagine I'll go another couple of years to before I can make work optional for myself. I'll be 62. I'm 60 now, so hopefully 62 or 63 I'll be able to slow it down to and relax a little bit. So the other thing too is that um, refinancing or putting loans on these properties while she's still working and still has her W-2 would be a bit easier um, to get the financing part accomplished. So I think we have a lot to think about trying to get some of this stuff done. I don't want to rush and just buy properties because she's going to stop working. I want to, buy good deals and make them, well, I guess put the money to work the best way that I can. And so that's our goal. Some of the other stuff we talked about last night was we talked about spam for some crazy reason. I don't know how that got in there. I think Mikey brought it up, but I was telling the guys I'd like to go to Hawaii, meet up with Mark and Mikey and get some good loco moco over there. I know I've had it here in California. I imagine it's not quite the same. So that's the kind of stuff we get off topic on. We talked about DSCR loans, and I was under the impression that when you did a DSCR loan, it needed to be in the name of the LLC, but someone brought it to my attention that you can do a DSCR in your personal name. So that's some research that I'm going to be doing over the next couple of days, and be checking in with Dion and Matt are supposed to be on the school platform tomorrow at 8 o'clock Pacific. So I'm going to bring that question up with them. The person also asked if you could do house hacking if you did a DSCR loan, and there are a few nuances about that we can talk about later. We'll try to make a video on that once I get the right information or more information. So we've kicked around DSCR loans. We've talked to our lender about HELOCs, and we're going to get into that more in depth with him soon once we close on this property, and then see what comes about. I think, again, before Cynthia stops working, we probably would attempt to pick up 2 or 3 more doors before she's finished, and then we'll just get everything stabilized. We're going through a lot right now. We're going through 1 eviction in our Milwaukee duplex. We finally got the full triplex filled within the last week. We did a big renovation on that house on 2 of the units, and they were vacant for probably a good month and a half. So again, that makes me think about reserves and how important they are for you to have. It's really helped us be patient and wait for the right tenants to be placed instead of trying to rush and put somebody in there because we were covering the mortgage. So I really try to preach that all the time about how important reserves are. Don't just spend all your money buying a place and not have any money when something comes up, because something will come up. And if you don't have the reserves, it can knock you out of the game right away or discourage you from trying again. Hopefully you wouldn't lose the property, but if you did, I think it could stop you from wanting to try it and do it the right way. Luckily, sometimes we think, what's the worst that could happen? And I was getting ready to do an interview with someone. Before the interview, I was thinking that, what is the worst that could happen? lose a property or, you know, go through bankruptcy or whatever that might be. And I realized the worst had already happened to us the first time around. So it, it made me, I don't know, it gave me the mental fortitude or the strength to try to do it again, because we made it through that, all that bad stuff the first time it happened. So um, hopefully it wouldn't happen twice, but um, I think this time seems to be working out much better than the first time we tried it. So I think if I didn't confuse everybody, that's the thought for today, or those are the thoughts for today. I appreciate you being here, and I'll look forward to chatting with you guys. I know Matt has, today's Thursday. Matt has his live at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So I'll probably see most of you there, and I'll try to be more consistent about these, uh, about posting these work van confessions. Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon.